All right, let's dive into the festivities. 7:30 ish. We didn't quite get the kick time out of them there, but we almost did. 7:30 ish. Penn State will play Oregon in the whiteout on Saturday. You asked an interesting question. I don't think we've discussed this topic on the podcast, but you were pretty fired up about this at one point. So can you ask that question? You've been pondering quite literally all
Oh, is this the
summer.
entertainment or tradition question?
You said event or tradition. Yes.
Event. Yeah. So is the whiteout an event or a tradition? And I think I'm hedging my bets because, or I'm hedging my answer because but to me, it's an event. It's existed. The program's been around for 30 years. 1986 was 100 years, I think. 100th anniversary
Yeah,
of
sounds right.
football. So there have been 18 full stadium whiteouts in that time. Granted, there's been a lot of stuff. Sure, it's an event that has become. It is a marketing device. It is something that changed. It certainly changed the tenor of Penn State football. Certainly, I wrote for the Collegian years ago about the quietest 87,000 people in a college stadium multiple times. Like that was one of my favorite lines because Penn State fans, the wave would start in the student section. It would come around to the west stands and just die. People would be like, get that wave out of here, right? Like they couldn't even agree to do that. So the whiteout has changed the perception of Beaver Stadium and the power of the fans. But I guess if I had to pick one or the other, is it an event or a tradition? I would still lean more event than program tradition.
I think this is an accidental old guy, young guy.
Yes,
Because to your point, you have been alive for how old are you now?
50 something.
Okay, we've
I'm
really
not
lost
getting the
track.
computer out to do,
Okay,
but yes,
that's
yes.
fine. I have my calculator here if you want it.
Look up my.
Okay, so that's 13% of Penn State football seasons that have had a whiteout in them on the calculator. Okay,
Okay.
we're gonna call it 57, I think. So 1850. That's 31% of the football seasons that you've been alive for that have had it. Okay.
Okay. Yep. That's about right. About a third. Yep.
Sorry, let me just, even though this is pretty basic math, that's 56% of the football seasons that I've been alive for.
So for you, it's more like a tradition.
Correct.
Yep.
And I think,
Wow, we took a long way to get there.
I
With calculators
yeah.
too.
Well, I wrote down some other things I'm going to come back to. We had a good. I remember this summer we had a conversation about this, and I feel like it has become a tradition for my generation because one thing that we've always talked about, it is not an every game thing. It is a genuine signifier of this is the biggest game, your biggest game of the season.
Yep.
And I think to me, like I kind of with the bye week last week, I kind of not forgot about Penn State football, but like you kind of go into your bye week comatose where you can kind of focus on a couple other things. But then we had our interview with Charlie today, and then we're now sitting here and like it's like, oh, this is the first time all season that I've been genuinely excited because you get to kind of both kick off a real season as we talked about last week, but also like it's the biggest showcase, the biggest show in town in the country on Saturday night, and it's a cool thing to be a part of. So I think it's become a tradition because of all of that, plus the fact that for a guaranteed fact that's the one game you're supposed to lose your voice at. It's the one game that you're supposed to stand to, which James Franklin brought up today in the press conference. It's this one thing that like in a lot of ways it's still this, like, even if it has become quote unquote corporate, right? And we talk about Penn State becoming corporate. We're going to go through a quiz about corporate sponsors. It's still relatively organic. Like, nobody is forcing everybody to wear the white shirt, but yet everybody is wearing the white shirt. And I think that's what's so cool about it. And I think it's kind of like one of the things I was thinking about with football season in particular. And I was thinking about this actually related to the Oasis concert, because it's like from 2020 on, we've all kind of been searching for a sense of community. And that's one of the reasons why I think the Oasis shows kind of blew up this year is people were finding this sense of community that they didn't have. And I think with Penn State, this is the showcase of that sense of community for Penn State fans on Saturday.
Yeah, oh no, no doubt about it. I don't disagree with any of that. It is a wonderful event that has become a tradition. And they have leaned into it. They have done for all the stuff we nitpick about what the stadium is and isn't, especially during the first 3 preseason games. They figured out how to do fonts and promotions and whatever else. I don't know that I remember a lot of screw ups during the whiteout, like through almost 2 decades of. I mean, again, by that point of the season, they have it figured out. It's the biggest game of the season. If the whiteout was the first game, I'd be worried, honestly. But they have it figured out. They know what they're doing, and there are traditional aspects of it, right? You're going to get certain songs at certain times, that are going to be part of that pregame to get the vibe going. You just know that they're going to be there. So, yeah, for me, it's an event that has become a tradition, and it is pretty much an old guy, young guy in terms of how many of those you've experienced.
Yeah, I think that's, and it would be fascinating to talk to even somebody younger than us that is equally as passionate about Penn State as we are, because I feel like they would also say it's a tradition. I think the other thing
students don't know it. Students know it only as this, right? Like this is their thing.
And I think the other thing is this is never now going away. Like this is always going to be a part of Penn State football. It is very much like the fact that they are called the Nittany Lions or blue white or the chipmunk logo. Like all of those things. Like you can't not ever have these a part of the brand. Coaches change, etc. But this is now a part of the brand that has, I would arguably also replaced homecoming in terms of
for some people probably has.
Yeah,